You're getting a lot.
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions. Good Tuesday evening, everybody. Welcome to another round of Ghost-Mortem. With me, your host, Eugene Tay. With my beanie buddy, his name is...
Hi, Jonathan here. How's everybody doing?
Oh, man. You
Now then wear beanie.
join the hunt. Can you guess which horror show this is from? Okay, it's not really a horror show. La. It's a supernatural show called Supernatural.
Oh, is it official Supernatural merch?
Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
Bought it from Germany.
Ah, okay, so cool. Yeah.
Okay, so today is the very special episode. As you know, sometimes we do have that in-between times where we talk about movies that we watch in the cinema. Because usually on Ghost-Mortem, we will be playing you short films and then we go into dissection and commentary. And you guys told us that you enjoy it. And we are on season 5 already. Thank you for all your love and support. Please do like and share. Continue to spread the word because when more people join in on the discussion, it will be exciting. Like today, for example, tell us a bit more about Ghost-Mortem Go Movies. John, this was your creation, by the way.
Yeah. It happened because, so Ghost-Mortem, the original, right, the OG Ghost-Mortem was all about what to do during the pandemic when we can't watch horror films, or more importantly, we can't talk about horror films for hours and hours afterwards. So Eugene and I decided, let's take this online, let's use the short films and see if there are other people out there who are like us, right? Horror nerds who want to analyze and dissect and understand. And ta-da, this wonderful community sprung up, and then when the cinema started opening, we thought, how like that, itchy, right, to handle the bigger films, and then also the stuff that was streaming. So we thought, hey, every month or so, right, when there have been enough films accumulating in the cinema, we tackle them. So that began about, 2-3 seasons ago, I think. In the third season.
It seems like forever. And it's organically growing. We just come up with ideas and thanks to you guys suggest some stuff and then we put it in and next thing you know, it becomes a thing.
So for those of you who are new to Ghost-Mortem Go Movies, GM Squared, don't worry if you haven't seen the movies we're discussing because we will show trailers, right? And then after that, we'll talk about them. So I think all 4 that we're discussing are still available in the cinema. So after we talk about it, you can still go watch it. I do realize, though, I don't have my spoiler sign with me. Do you have your spoiler sign, Eugene?
I will have to write it out right now.
Okay, I don't have stationery with me.
I'll be the spoiler sign holder.
Okay, can. So whenever we are going to talk about some aspect of the film that might lead to a spoiler, Eugene will hold up the sign and you guys can just cover your ears until the sign disappears. All right? We do encourage you to go and watch the film after we've talked about it so that you can see whether our theories are right. Very often, Eugene and I will have differing views. So you can also go see whether you are Camp Eugene or Camp John.
That's right. Today, already for a fact, I know we are disagreeing on a few movies and agreeing entirely on some movies.
Yes.
Let us know what you... I know many of you have already watched some of the shows that we watched. This is where you chime in.
Yes, please.
Please, we want to hear from you.
Anyone who has seen the film, please give us a shout. Tell us what you thought about it so that it's not just 2 of us.
Yeah. Speaking of movie nerds, I want to read out some names and say hello to people who have arrived early. Again, Ghost-Mortem.
Who was first on your site?
On Facebook, Sonia Krana is first.
Yay.
And why this is a big deal? Because again, she's in Bali. She's not in Singapore right now. She's back in Bali again. On YouTube, we have Jillian Fernandez first as well. Abba was at work, so she just managed to knock off and join us in time. Guilty JX. That's a new name. I've not seen Guilty JX.
I see a Severin Lee. Are you new, Severin?
I think so. I don't recognize that name either.
Hi,
Severin Lee, he has tuned in a couple of times. Severin.
Okay. Hi, Severin. Crimson Raven mode.
Yuki, she's a confessor. She's joining us. She says hello. Huang Shuting,
Nice.
Ariel, very
Ariel.
panelists.
Carlos is here. KK is here. ZB Matt is here.
Men
Hello.
here is new. Not seen that name in a while.
Gene, our panelist also. Hi, Gene. Desmond Lim, laggy. Desmond says we are laggy.
Oh, we are laggy.
Who's laggy? Are we both laggy? Laggy.
Oh, is it very bad lag?
Please let us know if you spot a major lag or if you can't hear us. Yeah. Iman, hello. Imko.
Yeah.
Anwar, Rosli, big loves from Perth.
Oh,
Yay,
hello.
big
Anwar
loves
is a
back.
new name. I've not seen Anwar before. Shimin
It's
Tan.
like 10 p.m. in Perth. Shouldn't you all be asleep?
They got live lah. They got
Ah.
live.
When I was there, I thought even the Hantu go to sleep early. It's Perth.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Very,
Who else is new? Let me see.
Naya Salavi Krishnan, I think that's new. She says not lagging. We have
Not lagging. Okay, hooray.
Tachu
hooray.
is new as well. Ellen Huang.
Nice.
Thai Horror, Cock CC5, Co CC5. A lot of new names. Once again, thank you for joining us. If you're new, just say hello. We are very nice and warm community, and I like it that, you know what, Ghost-Mortem is this very tight-knit, close-knit, very cozy community, and we really get to flex our brains and dissecting all this.
Yes.
I cannot wait for today. We have 4 movies for you. John, what are the 4 movies that we're going to dissect today?
Oh, very exciting. In order, right? We start with the Western one first. So we're going to do the Exorcism of God, followed by an Indonesian film, which is Manjalang Maghrib, which is Eugene's favorite. Right? Look at that face. And then followed by, we're going to do KKN, right? KKN DESA PENARI, also Indonesian. And then we'll end with a Thai film, Haunted Universities Part 2.
All right.
So quite short.
So a lot of variety. 4 movies for us to dissect today. I've watched all 4. How
Wow,
many of
that's
you have
wonderful.
watched? Yeah, how many of you have watched all 4? Let us know in the comment, or part of all 4. The first movie we're going to dissect right now is Exorcism of God. Let's take a look at the trailer.
A long time ago, I committed a sin. I was weak.
Was this originally in Spanish and dubbed?
Don't know. I see like it's in-
Welcome, Father Peter.
It's not every day you get a visit from a saint. I am not a saint.
You've been helping our people for 18 years.
Father Michael, you made it?
If I can make it to hell, I can make it to Mexico.
I love that.
The inmates have suffered the influence of the evil one.
She has symptoms of epilepsy, hysteria.
so good.
He wants you.
Wow, this one.
Balban is trying to possess you.
Feels like a punishment from the Lord.
Yeah.
Check it out. Classic horror. Classic.
Greatly sinned.
I think we should have like some award show for trailers. For trailers.
Best trailers.
There is no place for God and the devil in the same body.
How will I do it?
By not believing God is with you, but by believing you are God.
Look, this scene. Check it out.
Which one? The cross.
See, the Christ.
Yeah. That
Booyah, and that was Exorcism of God. It was out in the movies, I think, last month. And I know many of you have watched it. Many of you on the group chat have been saying great reviews. Obviously, from how we are watching the trailer and you see my reaction, I love Exorcism of God for many reasons, and I'm going to tell you why.
So, Shumin just said, Jesus, are you pointing out the character or are you commenting? But tell us if you've watched it. Tell us if you liked it or hated it. Meanwhile, Eugene, you seem very excited. So tell us why you loved it so much.
I watched it twice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I love the movie that much. I watched it twice. It's so watchable.
Okay.
Again, so for many of you who have been watching season 1 to 5 with me and John, you will understand a bit about our preference, right? Because movies is a lot about preference. We can dissect it, but at the end of the day, what I love may be just personal to me, and many of you may be disagree. But that's the beauty of Ghost-Mortem, right?
Yeah.
I felt in the opening eight minutes of the show,
Yeah.
I was blown away. Blown
Okay.
away. If you watch Exorcist, there's a scene that they pay homage to Exorcist.
Yeah.
Very clear. In fact, in the start of our intro and our countdown timer, that was also a homage to Exorcist. Right? So when you see that, you realize, okay, this movie is going to be following the vein of Exorcist. And dude, I was blown away. I was freaked out. The effects were great. I knew what was coming. I was still freaking out. And of course, to put a cherry on top of the cream, for many of you men out there, there's a tit scene. Right? Like how Exorcist, you have the girl who would put the crucifix in her vagina and everything. You have that kind of very disturbing imagery, but once it gets you to a level where you're disturbed, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know whether I'm going to close my eyes and look at this. It goes, poop, intro, and then 18 years later. Wow. You have my attention, right? And there's a lot of effects, a lot of, mainly the effects and sound, right? Audio. So I put on my earphones. Creepy.
Yes, it sounds wonderful.
I would imagine you would not like it if you are expecting a twist. There is a twist. I'm not sure this twist worked for everybody, but there is a twist. But by and large, it's very traditional. It's very classic horror, and I love it for that.
A lot of people in the group are saying they liked it. Yeah, lots of people really loved it. Loved the twist at the end. Oliver finds it very interesting. Ooh, very interesting. Crimson loved it. Shimin watched it.
Watched it. What does it mean?
What else? Who else says it? Heman says the scares were creative, but disliked the last act. Was horrible. Ooh, okay. Thomas wants to know what's the rating for the show.
I rate it a 5-star.
Oh no, I think because of the nudity. I think Was it M18? I can't remember now.
I don't know. Let me just do a quick check.
Yeah, it's a long time since that was an issue. Crimson says I've watched a lot of Exorcism movies. I think this is the best one.
You got taste.
No lah. I'll tell you what's the best one. The best one is the one that I watched recently. The one where they were filming this fake. The fake priest, and then
is that a short film?
It became real. No, it's a feature film. I saw it on Netflix. What's it called? The Last Exorcism or something like that.
Of Emily Rose?
No, just The Last Exorcism
Is
or something like that. It was. I must check again. It was really good. It was all a scam. It was all about send me your donations, and then every exorcism was fake with special effects.
Oh.
And then suddenly it's not, right? And it was all streamed live. So that was fantastic.
Okay,
right?
It was about this guy who tried to exercise things. He was he was like a YouTuber or
a
streamer,
he was basically
right?
an influencer.
And then a demon came and challenged him.
Yes, that was fantastic. It was like, demons versus social media. It was fantastic. But that's because it updated the genre, which I liked. But you're liking this one because it's very classic.
So
right?
close to source. With a twist at the end, and that one I have to put a spoiler sign.
So yeah, I agree that this film sounded fantastic. It has wonderful coloring, wonderful images, very gothic. Right, you could see from the trailer all the look that you want, especially since the final sort of sequence happens in that prison, right, where the girl is being held. So it's instead of your usual bedroom, white sheets, floating bed. It's in a much darker and scarier place, and then there are other inmates who also get possessed. So, the stakes go up more than your usual film, right? So I think very creative, very rich. I guess what I didn't like was the attempt to be clever, right? So from the title, that they're already trying to sell you this clever concept. Right? And then
I
the
feel like I have to
tagline.
put this up soon.
Okay, the tagline. No, it's already in the title.
Okay,
It's not a
okay.
spoiler. And the tagline says, "God and the devil cannot exist in the same body." Right. So hence, the idea that by the end of this film, God must be exorcised. Hence, the title. Right. So they're sort of signposting this big thing, and you're waiting for it to happen. But when it finally happens, to me, that conceptual sort of sweeping the carpet away from under our feet doesn't happen, because it's actually quite lame.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I agree
For
with you
me,
on that one.
it was
yeah.
really lame, because it comes to that final point where he wants to save the girl. The demon says, "I'm not letting her go unless," and then unless what? Unless, not spoiler lah, it's the title already lah. Okay, unless you allow or you exorcise God from your life, i.e., you finally live up to the title, and he's gonna do it because that's the title. But when he does it, literally nothing happens.
No, everything happened.
No, but as in nothing happens because of that thing. Here you have a priest who was already flawed, okay? He already committed a terrible thing 18 years ago. I'm not going to tell you what that was. He's been paying it all his life. He lives in guilt. He can't even confess. He hasn't got that much God in him. He's not a very righteous character. Yeah, so that little percentage left, is that what the demon wants? Because, there are much better people than him all over the place. Any of the kids is purer than him. Why is this demon obsessed with this damaged goods
I
of a
think
priest?
the demon... Okay, so I have to spoiler this, right? Because...
Okay, spoiler.
The demon is playing a very long game. And if we know the demon, they last for thousands of years. And this guy, they know that he is... Because they can foresee things. He's going to be the spiritual counselor of the Vatican. He's going to be a place of power. So the demon is taking a very long game with him, putting breadcrumbs for him to fall, putting challenges for him to fall and fail. And eventually he did play even the guy that you saw in the... This is all spoiler stuff. If you have not watched it and you want to watch it, turn off your
talking about the other priest, the older priest, right?
The butler from Fresh Prince, right? The black guy.
Okay. Yeah, the older priest.
Yeah, he too has made a pact, and his soul is damned, and he cannot exercise anything.
Yeah.
So it shows what the movie is trying to say at some points, and this is where it's open for discussion, is Vatican is flawed from the inside out, because that is the premise of the story, and they're not really bothered about exercising anything. They have not changed anything.
I buy that. I buy that, right? Which is why it was such a seductive concept on paper, right? This is basically actually the prequel to a much larger universe in which, all the big shots in the Vatican are actually possessed.
Yes.
Or something like that,
Or
right?
they make a pact with the devil somehow.
Yeah, correct, And the thing is, that would be the actual payoff. So by the end of this film, I really feel like I'm watching the epilogue to something else,
Correct.
And you haven't really delivered me what this 90, 100 minutes deserves.
Voila.
You just sort of went, choke.
Yeah.
Join us next season. I'm like, no, I followed you all this way, and
Give me the payout, right? Give me the payout.
You need to do both. You need to have your long game set up, but you also need your immediate payoff for this film.
Yeah.
This guy now, as he is, has to lose enough before he becomes this instrument of the devil for part 2.
Okay.
But I feel that he basically was nothing.
He gave in too easily. And
and he was no loss to anyone, quite frankly. I have a suspicion he would have gone on and just done the bad stuff anyway. He's such a weak character, So I'm not saying that it didn't work. I'm just saying that there was a disparity between how amazing the concept could have been at the end and maybe how much they were just standing by for a sequel or they underplayed that hand at the moment where it mattered most. It just ended like a normal exorcism film.
Yeah. You brought us up
soul,
very, very
I let go
high.
to go.
You bargain the soul and the end. Like,
the end.
what?
And then just an epilogue to show what might happen next. Yeah, and if I leave to go to the car park early, I totally won't get that epilogue, So I feel that they should have taken it a little bit further. I don't know whether he meant that's the sort of last act horror bonus that you were mentioning. He Himan says they seem to make a mockery of the concept of God, though. Yeah. That is one of the things I like. I think both Eugene and I loved one particular entity in there. Right? You saw a glimpse of it in the trailer, right? First, they showed you the crucifix with Christ. And then after that, there's this, apparition, right? Or one of the forms that the demon takes, which is this grotesque version of Christ with the crown of thorns, with the cross, but then also like walking backwards like a spider, exorcist style. So that to me was really shocking, and somehow I think this is a shot in Spain. So that would have been terrifying to a Catholic audience, so that was a powerful thing. So
the other part I didn't like, I agree with Imunia on this, is at one point it felt like a zombie flick. Or a Bride of Dracula flick.
When all the other inmates came out, right? It just became that little horde. It became the ending of the Medium.
Like, why do you need to have this scene where everyone come out and like, not necessary. You have one big bad, and that was enough. You didn't have the minions coming out and just go that part unnecessary for me.
This is, I think, the influence of the sort of 28 Days Later, Train to Busan kind of zombie genre that's grown so big that every film now must somehow multiply to a horde near the end. Cannot just be one entity.
Mark Shippo says, actually God was not exercised on priests, but the priest fell for the deal to renounce the Holy Spirit to save his daughter and other kids. But then he fell so easily for it.
Yeah, that's the thing, you see. And I just feel that it wasn't that I don't feel how great a loss it was for him, because he was already such a problematic individual. His faith was not particularly strong. He felt, eaten away by his guilt. There's no loss. Seriously, you ask Mother Teresa to give up her faith, and that's something big.
Correct.
You ask this guy to give up his faith, he may not notice the difference. He spent 18 years becoming such a charitable saint with his faith damaged.
No, but again, you see, that's where they play on the damaged person. And I like that part because it shows that you may be flawed and damaged, but you have spent 18 years doing good for the community at large. So again, it plays on the balance. Like, can your 18 years of doing good and saving lives and helping people erase the one sin that you had 18 years? It's about balance and karma, right? So,
but that's the thing, right? You're talking about karma in a Catholic film. So the idea, there is this idea of him redeeming himself through, being a good guy and all that. But that is completely anti-Catholic. All he need, and they talk about this in the film, all he needed to do was freaking confess.
And pay penance by telling Vatican that he did this.
Yeah, and chances are he would have gotten scot-free anyway, because he would have been forgiven, and given a lousy posting or something, right? So there was a solution. Why didn't he take it? What was his problem? Was he Buddhist at heart?
He because he was told by the people that, if you confess your sins, the Vatican will take you away and strip you of your priesthood, and then what's going to happen to us? There was a bit, but anyway, because it's 11:26, so I don't.
That's what he was told, but that's not believable, right? That's not believable because we know about the Catholic Church, and the sin he committed 18 years ago was minor in
not
today's world. But
11:26. We got 3 more to go. I have to leave by 11:20 latest because
No, 10:26. Sorry, don't scare me.
Okay. So next one.
Okay, so we wanted to pair these two up because both are about possession, right? One very organized and classic, and the other one very folksy, right? Indonesian, very countryside. Okay. The film is called Manjalang Maghrib, and it translates to Before Night Falls.
Wow. This is
Eugene loves it so much. He's gonna have to take a drink.
9 points on the IMDb rating. Okay, let's take a look at the
watch the trailer. Manjalang Maghrib.
Di belakang saya ini adalah rumah pasung tempat Nina istirahat dan tidur. Pada sore hari sebelum maghrib, Nina sudah dimasukkan ke dalam rumah pasung ini sebelum dia mengalami perubahan emosi dan tekanan pada dirinya dengan teriakan histeris dan berperilaku aneh. Kejadian itu akan berhenti saat azan maghrib.
Orang menghindar dari hal mistis biar terlihat lebih pintar. Padahal ya, hidup kita sendiri dikendalikan oleh yang mistis.
Roh gaib itu akan bisa tenang jika dikelilingi dengan unsur bambu dan tanah.
Kalian pikir kalian manusia makhluk sempurna? Hah?
John, can't hear you. No audio from you. No audio from you, John. Okay. Anyway, if you guys have watched Maghrib, let us know in the comment. How do you find this? John on mute. I don't know why, John. Production a bit on lower end. John? Mic check, John. Testing. Tiabo you. Can't hear you at all. What happened? Okay, I'm just going to carry on first. John, maybe you can just refresh a couple of times. Maghrib, I am thinking this has got to be the benchmark for the worst show in horror. If you want to talk about the worst show in horror, and with bad acting, bad effects, bad plot, confusing storyline, confusing lore, no payoff, and totally meaningless, Maghrib would be the baseline for that. I wish John would come back and John, you can't hear me. So you got to refresh. Okay, maybe we'll both refresh together. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back in a few seconds. I'm just going to refresh and see whether we can save John's audio. Testing. John, testing. Can you hear me? I can't hear you, John. Yes. John, can you hear me? I cannot hear you even from WhatsApp. Sorry, folks. Not sure what's wrong. Hey, John. Hello. Yes, I can hear you now for WhatsApp. Can you hear me? Your mic is muted. Yes, I can. On WhatsApp. Okay. Yep.
Can you hear
Yes,
me now?
I can.
Yay! Okay, sorry if it sounds a bit muted.
Okay, Ken?
I can hear
Okay, very
you.
good. I can hear you too. Okay, so I was just saying,
Okay.
Maghreb makes the benchmark for worst acting, worst effects, worst plotline, worst lore, most convoluting ending and meaningless ending, and all the worst possible elements you can find in a movie. Maghreb is the case study for what not to do in a horror movie.
But it has the best interpretive dancing in an Asian horror film.
And somehow at the end there was
I'm
like
not
a
the
rap
only one
music
who
that
thinks
came
so.
in that totally was not part of the mood.
Okay, was there anything about it that you liked?
The premise of it, where it's after dark, right? Something happened because we in Asia, where we say Maghreb, after dark, 7 o'clock, dusk, don't go out because there are ghosts out there. So in the Asian law, we were told during our growing up years that at dusk there will be spirits who will possess you. So I went in hoping for a little bit more of that law. But in the first 2 minutes of the show, I was closing my eyes because I cannot handle the shaky camera. Like, what the hell? Blair Witch was ahead of its time, but when you try to do Maghreb and you are deliberately shaking the cam just to create effect for minutes and minutes on end of pointless scene, what are you trying to tell me? Like, I paid good money for this and you're wasting 10 minutes on just...
I watched it with my friend who really got quite nauseous.
Yeah.
Just within the first 10-15 minutes. And I can tolerate, Blair Witch kind of shaky cam when you're running through the woods as trying to escape from the witch. But when you're sitting in the back of the car talking on the way there, you're already shaking like crazy for no good reason. And that was literally the opening of the scene. And I was already terrified that the whole film would be an earthquake, basically. Right? But I agree that the folklore that was promised was very tantalizing. I really liked, for example, there were still nice moments, right? Like, I love, so this one's a bit of a spoiler. So I love the idea that she got possessed because she walked over a fallen bamboo, right? A bent bamboo, and suddenly that got her she trespassed in some way, and I was so excited to see what kind of spirit would punish you for walking over bamboo, And
I thought it was a
she only
bunyan,
calms
that
down
they go to a
because-
bunyan world or something.
Yeah, and she only calms down because her hut is made of bamboo, right? And the floor is made of earth, and I love all those folksy lore. But I think where they sort of overdid it, and was that they had a concept that was, again, too clever. It was about city dwellers versus the nature and culture of the countryside. You saw in the trailer there were 3 words that they were selling, right? Mystic, culture, and then superstition. So this was somebody's master's thesis about the loss of supernatural beliefs, superstitious beliefs in the modern world, blah blah blah. And they committed, for me, the worst error in any horror film, which is you keep forgetting what happened yesterday. You wake up, you're not scared anymore. You continue having your academic discussion about ghosts and everything. You continue filming, and then you get scared again. The next morning, you're fresh again.
No, don't have to be next morning. Okay, so guys, no one's going to watch this show, okay? So I'm just going to spoil it at the very end, right? Like what Ariel said. So this is okay, so Indonesian horror is very slow burn, right? They will have TikTok moment where they can actually speed up the entire show and finish in half an hour. But they have to... I am very scared, and there will be scenes where this guy's holding the camera, the monster's coming up to him, right? And you'd be like, what the fuck are you still standing there with the camera? And then the very last minute he go, ah! Then he fall down. Then he gets up, he goes like, I'm very scared. I just saw the ghost. I'm like, where's that fear? You just saw a ghost. Then another scene, this girl run, pop, hit the head, blood come down, she run, she screamed, the hand cover her face, as you saw in the trailer. Then she woke up, patch back, everything, right? Bleeding from head to toe. Yeah, it's very strange, huh? It's very strange that I'm here, huh? I wonder why I'm here. Where was that fear? And the only time she showed fear was she ran, and then they say, what's wrong? And then she showed, I saw a cemetery. Then the guys go, I was like, oh, the acting is so bad.
So this, I think, is one of the number one crimes of all horror, right? Where you forget that you are trapped in a place with a thing and it's supposed to get worse and worse daily, but somehow, it refreshes every morning,
I mean, some of the things that they saw, right? And then because they're filming, this is like a reality show.
Yeah.
First question in my head is like, don't you guys ever go, because, okay, there are scenes where they go in, then things happen, then when they go back into the room again, how come the girl is still there? It's like, what happened to us? Did we imagine stuff or not? But hello, you were filming the whole time. Just go and replay lah. And if you replay and you see ghosts, then what are you still doing there? Run away.
Yes. So, okay, if you remember, those of you who watched The Medium, right, whether you watched it with us or you watched it on your own, right, one of the wonderful things they did in Medium was they replayed the video that they shot, and it really contributed to the plot. It was such a clever thing, right, because the family didn't know what was going on around them at night, right, and they got shocked by watching the video. For some strange reason, these people just it never crossed anyone's mind to watch your footage, and then talk about it endlessly instead.
Oh, I like one other scene where the medicine man come down. The girl say, I want to open the door. He go like, no one can open. Only I can open. So he thought, okay lah. He medicine man, right? Like, if you open it, you go to another realm. I was hoping that he go to the girl. He, wow. Got law, no? Got law. Then in the next scene, the grandma come in, and then the girl like, can I open? She said, yeah lah. Nah, you open.
Yes.
I'm like, so what was that? Wait, 5 minutes ago you said, hey.
But okay, another thing that bugged me, right, was, okay, so you all saw the image of Nina, right? Nina's the girl who's possessed, right? And the thing we love about exorcism films, one of the major tropes, is the transformation that happens when the spirit comes upon her, right? From Linda Blair all the way onwards, right? It's about what happens when the spirit comes. In this case, she looks so strange and frightening and terrifying every moment of the day that when she's shackled to the ground in the hut, it's actually the one time she actually looks normal and safe. I'm more terrified of her when she's dancing than when she's...
sorry, I'm very sorry, but Nina was not scary for me. People who are possessed, right? The eyes are very obvious that they are possessed. They are glassy and they stare at you straight and they have no life. This Nina, she is a bitch of a possessed person. She does this. Like, hello, you trying to be what? Sassy or possessed? Like, what the hell are you trying to act? And the worst is they have the hair, you see the trailer, the patchy hair, right? You can see the latex in front of the head. And that whole hair, you think that, it was necessary part of the whole law that they needed to have the hair that way. That's why they put the wig. You could do away without the wig and it's still fine. There was nothing that the wig added to the horror. So my question is, what the hell? Why are you doing all this to a show where you didn't have to? And the other crazy part, when you thought was horror and law, right? Suddenly she come out, in the middle of the grass patch, right? Then she did this. Then she start drawing symbols on the floor. And then the students go, yeah, is this like the black hole of the universe? There's things called gravity that we cannot quite explain, and the cells and atoms and the stars and the planets. Maybe that's what supernatural is like. Huh? What? Wow, so I was sitting there, I was grabbed, and it's a 1 hour 40-minute show. 1 hour 40 minutes of pain. Anyway, see lah, until John also rage quit. Okay. Hopefully John's gonna come back. Not sure where is he now. John gone. Sounds like the movie is worse than okay. This movie is worse than Haunted Changi. I give Haunted Changi a lot of grief. This is worse than Haunted Changi and Revenge of Pontianak. Back to back. Okay? That's how bad it is. And when I got out with the cinema at the end, at the very end, spoiler, fuck it. Okay, I'm going to tell you the spoiler anyway. At the very end, right? Just imagine if the pain is not bad enough. If the pain of the movie is not bad enough, at the very end, there's a line that says, human beings have human rights because a lot of people who are insane is trapped in inhumane condition, like how the character Nina is trapped in the movie. But in the entire movie, you make us believe that she's possessed. So now, is she insane or possessed? You're trying to raise the awareness of the plight of people being trapped, or shackled down in villages because they're acting weird and they're not exactly possessed. So, possession or not possession? Human rights or what? What are you trying to sell me? Walao, it's 1 hour, 40 minutes of pain. So this is by far, of all the horror movies I watch, this is the benchmark for shitty horror movie that you would never do. In fact, you should all watch it only because so that you can laugh about it and next time you can tell people, oh my god, Maghreb is so bad. Okay? That's the only reason you will want to watch it. Okay. Anyway, I got a feeling John battery weak, so he dropped out. But anyway, let's take a look at next show. We have KKN. This is a movie that many of us from Ghost-Mortem, Supernatural Confessions have gone out for a movie night, and we have all watched it, and we have mixed feelings. So let me know in the comment section what you think about the film, and let's take a look at the trailer right now. Alrighty, KKN or KNN. Let me know in the comment section. Please, do you love the show? Do you hate the show? Which part about it you like it? Which part about it you hate it? Jonathan battery has gone flat. He's charging his phone right now and he's joining us as soon as he can come back online. He's left a few messages on the Facebook chat. Who was doing the village research? Please share with us. He says, I stay in this chat while my phone revives. Okay. For those of you who have not watched this, KNN is an Indonesian show, and I think it's better than Maghreb. Okay. There were scenes that were terrible. There were scenes that were great. Overall, it left us from Ghost-Mortem group. The panelists went to watch it together. We spent about an hour after the show talking about it. As always, some parts we could laugh and totally didn't make sense, and then some part we just found like the character in the show could have done so much more but did not. I found this to be a 2.5 out of 5. It's probably only interesting because I watched it with a big group and because we had a good laugh, but there were so many plot holes in it that it looks like a Swiss cheese, and they were the same problem that happened in Maghreb also happened in KNN, where obviously when they were filming, they did not film the scenes in back-to-back chronological order as it did as how you watch it. So you get the whole sense of at one scene they were and the next scene the fear is gone, because that's how they film at different parts, and that is the one flaw in a lot of horror shows or some horror shows that really ruins the moment for you. Again, some scenes are great. Standalone scenes are great. The lore is great. The casting is great. At the very end, the payoff I felt was interesting, but perhaps they were looking at pandering to an international audience. So some parts they tried to explain more than was necessary. There were the funny bits. There were the parts where, okay, I can see why you're doing that, right? So overall, 2.5, 3. Many of you do love KNN. I would like to go to the comment section to find out what you guys think about this. Anaconda runs wild. No. The trailer basically had all the nice scenes in the movie. Yes. The trailer had a lot of nice scenes, but there were also a lot of other good scenes that were not shown in the trailer. My sense is Indonesian movie is very slow moving, but that's just their style. Like Thai movie, later on we're going to go for the 4th show. We'll tell you a little bit more about Thai style, and this is Indonesian style. It's very steep in Indonesian law. It's very slow moving, slow pace, a lot of long scenes where people move slowly, speak slowly, and that's what it is. Is this the Indo version of Bai Si Chuan? Don't know what that. Am I near the end? Yes, Alishan, you're near the end. This is the 3rd movie. We have 4. The law of the dancer village was promising, yes, but actual spirit was dull. Correct. This is an actual village. This movie was based on an actual village in East Java. When we were going to Bali, this was one of our stops that we were supposed to go. In fact, a lot of the locals say that this place is haunted. When people go there for investigation, they find things. So this story was based on actual storyline or the folklore in East Java. The zombie, yeah. Okay, budget part. They had so much budget for snakes and everything else. By the time it comes to the villagers, the extras that they're supposed to be at the ending scene where they are dancing, it looks worse than Halloween Horror Night budget extras. It's like not believable at all. Talk about the old lady guardian spirit, my favorite. Which one, bro, Jonathan? Which one, the old lady guardian spirit? Oh, okay. There's one character that Jonathan and I think a lot of people love, is that in one of the characters in the show, she had a okay. spoiler. Okay? She had a guardian angel, guardian spirit of her grandmother. And in the early part of the show, you don't know that is the guardian spirit. You think she's one of the hantu. And it was very well casted, and the way she loomed over the girl, you think this girl is possessed and all that. It was later on that it shows this guardian spirit, the grandmother, actually protects her. And why this, again, is a big deal for Asian culture is, especially in Indonesia, in Asia, our ancestors sometimes linger to protect us. If you read my book, Supernatural Confessions, the character had a past life. The great-grandmother came down to protect her from evil. It's almost like using a spirit to counter another spirit. So that was a very good twist. We all thought she was a bad person. Turns out she was actually a good one. And the character, the casting for that, the effect was very, very nice. In fact, it's better than the main villain, which was supposed to pick one character, the main character, the antagonist, to take the place of a dancer. And then she was running out. Oh no, don't take me. And then suddenly her friend came in and then took the position, and it was all okay. There was no explanation about, at one moment, I must have her. And then, oh no, I think this one also can. Like, you forget the plot that you guys were trying to create. So it felt a bit choppy in that sense. But at the end, the payoff is, you do bad things, you pay the price. Talk about only, okay, cinematography is great. Movie storyline can be a lot better. I agree with you, Erickson. Cinematography is beautiful. A lot of budget for that. When they pan across the forest and the light comes in, gorgeous. They did very well with cinematography. Storyline, I think they didn't have like multiple edits, or they just had one person writing, and maybe he was just writing over a few months and then he forget his plot line. Indonesia has a lot of interesting folklore and spiritual beliefs. In this case, it seems about the Naga. Yeah, it's about the snake spirit. So again, the law in Java and in Indonesia or even Bali, they believe very much in the mysticism and supernatural side of things. And they would sacrifice their daughters to the deity of the land or the spirit of the land. And they would do dances and offerings. So it's very common in Indonesia for offerings to be made to spirits, to the spiritual realm. If you do a bit of research, the belief is that when they offer spirits to the offerings to the spirits, is to get the spirits to just avoid hurting them. And when they have festivals about dancers, especially with all this tribute to the demon, it's, again, we give this to you, we understand that you exist, we coexist in the same place, you don't disturb us, we don't disturb you. This happened, this pact was honored until this bunch of students come in, and then they didn't believe, and then they start having sex in the village, and then they offend the spirit. So it all started because someone was horny. So that was my takeaway from this. Clubbing with zombies, yeah, there was a dancing scene, the dish, 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 dish. There are a lot of cutscenes trying to make it fiction. So it's about rivalry between dancers. So just watch Black Swan Ken Liao. Yeah, there's a lot of dancing and then, oh man. Hey, welcome back, John. Battery charge already, yeah.
Yes, the snake spirit let me go.
Okay, you go ahead. I've done my dissecting of.
I heard most of it, and this one is the film that we totally agree about, 100%. Because I agree that the Halloween Horror Nights makeup was inexcusable, absolutely inexcusable. If you can't afford to make a horde, don't make a horde, right? They were actually quite creepy. They were just doing nothing with no makeup, just standing still. But once you try, and you don't try hard enough, that was sad. But I think for me, the biggest letdown was that you have this wonderful bunch of lore, right? Setting up this village, and this village is sort of servile to this dancing queen, you know? But she was really ordinary. She looked good, but yeah, maybe she looked too good, right? And if you compare her to the other dancer spirit, which we'll talk about in the next film.
Sorry, John, they say you got echo.
I got echo. Oh, sorry. Should I speak nearer?
Maybe you got to turn off the.
It's already off.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it too bad?
Say the audio is chinchalat.
Yeah, it is quite jalat because I'm using just my phone.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, guys. If you can, hopefully you can still hear me. I'll lean a bit closer. You know. So, yeah, I think the reason we paired this film together with the next film is simply because of the dancer spirit, right? And the dancer spirit is potentially a very creepy thing in quite a few Southeast Asian cultures. But the one in this village was a severe letdown. She just looked like someone's unpleasant sister, you know, who's a bit bitchy. She doesn't seem to have powers. She doesn't seem very supernatural. You know, what is she? Is she a dead dancer, a demon, an elemental? What? I don't know. She's just mean. All I get is mean girl vibes.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I felt, I mean, clearly there was something real going on, right? You know, all this is based on something, but I think then they let the truth down.
Yeah.
You know, truth is much more exciting than the fiction that they created. You know, so I'm glad we watched it together.
So the date. Oops is asking, what is the dark red-eyed figure? The dark red-eyed figure is.
I like that. Yeah.
What is that? What's that creature called? In the Indonesian law? It was.
I kept calling it the Hantu Raja, but no, it's the Indonesian version of it.
Okay, so there is a hantu in the forest where it's like a nature forest, a nature spirit, and they are like the Wendigo of the Indonesia.
Forest guardian.
Yeah. They just wanted to showcase an Indonesian law where you go to the forest and then you're either protected by them. If you destroy the forest, then this creature will come out and get you. But because they gave offerings and then getting that. So that was just to show that the law of Indonesia nature spirit.
But the other thing another thing that upset me, right, was they had this thing about, remember the shrine? There was this shrine. They were constantly told, don't cross the shrine, don't go to the forest. And then everyone does it and nothing happens. There was no actual indication of what happens when you cross the shrine because everybody was just barging into the forest at all times. You know? And so I felt that they had too much law and they didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
They were just layering it.
Crimson is saying is a gender ruvo.
Yes, gender ruvo. Nice. And it was, I think, probably the first time I've seen it in a film, which is wonderful. You know, it was quite delightful.
But you know, the gender ruvo, one of their iconic powers or prowess is that they are sex demons. They are sex beings. They in the law, they would take the form of a husband and they would have sex with the woman in the village, and the woman would not know, but you'd be very good, and then you will impregnate the woman. So yeah, again, we didn't see any of that. If there was a law in that, we didn't see anything.
That's a film that needs to be made. Like, what happens when your husband suddenly gets good in bed? Like, it must be
Just pretend you don't know lah. Just take it lah. Enjoy the process.
That's why we don't hear much about the hauntings, you see, because no one complains.
Yeah. So, what those haunting that you don't complain about?
Just pass it on to your friends.
Yeah. Anyway, it's 11 o'clock now. Let's play the. Shall we go for the last one?
Yes, this one is our only Thai offering. It's been a while since we've seen a Thai film. And this one is actually the sequel to another anthology from 2009, Haunted Universities. This one is a lot more big budget, better writing, better directing, better everything, but maybe still not good enough. Let's see. Haunted Universities.
ที่ชั้นล่างหน้าลิฟต์อะมันจะมีตู้กระจกอยู่ตู้หนึ่งมันเป็นของที่คณะทำให้รุ่นพี่เราคนหนึ่งทุกปีในช่วงใกล้วันรับปริญญามักจะมีนักศึกษาที่กำลังจะเรียนจบเสียชีวิตลงที่ตึกนั้นอย่างไร้สาเหตุเตียงที่แทนนอนอยู่อะเป็นเตียงสีหรือเปล่าเพราะมันอาจจะเป็นเตียงที่เจ้าของตัวจริงจะกลับมาใช้ทุกปี
สวัสดีน้องๆทุกคนนะคะ ขอต้อนรับเข้าสู่กิจกรรมเชียร์ค่ะ
ใครเชื่อว่าในห้องเนี้ยมีผี ยกมือ
กูก็อยู่ตึกวิทย์นี่แหละ ตึกแม่งโคตรโทรมเลยว่ะ เรียนไปได้ไงวะ
ไปผิดตึกแล้วกูบอกแล้วไงต้องมาตึกใหม่
นี่ก็ผ่าจังเลยมันก็ตกลงมาสักทีดิวะพี่กลัวผีเหรอมันก็แปลว่าเมื่อกี้ไม่เห็นผีดิถ้ามันเห็นผีจริงๆแล้วแกจะไม่คบกับมันเรื่องแค่นี้หรอ
Alright. Okay, so Thai horror, you guys must know the style, huh? There's the very scary Thai horror, and there's a very campy comedic Thai horror. That's the signature lah, I would say. Oh, I think we lost John again. John, you look like you are deep in thought. Alrighty, boys and girls, I'm gonna be John's gone. I'm gonna be doing this dissection on my own for this one. It's a lot to talk about because there's 3 or 4 short films in one movie, and each one's about 20 minutes long. So the first one is about a girl, 2 girls who could see spirit. So it was quite nice. One saw spirit and the other could see spirit as well, but she denied it. She pretended it didn't exist. And at the end of that film, the first story, the girl says, if you want to ignore spirits, but I'm your friend, you promise you will never ignore me, right? So she decided to kill herself, and then she came back as spirit, and the friend made good her word by not ignoring her ever again. There were some scary moments, but by and large, the whole story itself was more of a good friend thing, right? And some of the acting was pretty good. The mean camp leader said certain things, acted like a douche. So it was rather believable. But in the scale of horror from 1 to 5, I would say it's like a 1 or a 2. It feels like a cheap horror because there were horrific scenes that you could pull off on a low budget when you spend some money in Spotlight, for example, to buy stuff. The second story, I can't quite remember, but is this a doctor one or something? But most of them were very, very forgettable, except the first and last one. One other one where this guy was a doctor, and everyone went out of the hostel. He decided to stay there, and he was told at the start, and this is a setup for the audience, that this bed that you're sleeping on, many years ago, someone died in an accident. He didn't complete his doctorate studies, so he's going to come back here and haunt whoever's on this bed and chase you out of bed. And for some reason, this guy did not want to leave the hostel when everyone else has left. And then the ghost came lah. The ghost came. Ghost came, and you think it's a ghost, right? Then you wonder, why is he acting like a zombie? He's like, moving. Is he freshly dead or is he dead 10 years ago? Why is he coming back dragging his feet like as if he just got out of accident and he's bleeding head to toe? And that he can physically touch this person and push him away out of bed. So that part was like, wow, totally don't make sense. The law is gone. And he was strangling the guy, Then you ask the question, why does he want to kill this guy? So I was wondering whether I missed it or not. Is there like a line in the movie that I didn't get? And I watched this with Jonathan. Jonathan was beside me and he was like laughing and he enjoyed the whole story so much. And I was like, oh no, just a waste of my bloody time and money. Okay, so John said something online. I'm just going to read. Love the theme of hiding your third eye to fit in. I suspect Thailand would be a place the third eye wouldn't be looked down upon. Yeah, because everyone could see spirit. Everyone keeps spirit with the kumantongs and everything. So you got third eye, you can see spirits. No one's gonna go, hey, oh, you're a weirdo. So the last one. The last one is funny because it's about a guy and a sister. She's in university. She's trying to be a doctor, and the brother is just had a breakup, and he's like a tiao lang tang guy, right? Do delivery lah. So he has to go to the university to deliver something, a laptop to his sister, and that's where the joke really is. Second story was simple suspense setup, like the airplane sequence in Phobia 2. Which one is that, John? I don't quite remember what's the second story about. Is that the doctor one or something else? Okay, anyway, last show. So he walked through, and there were a lot of ghosts around him, but he did not care about the ghosts. He did not react to the ghosts. Everything was like, in fact, he like have a little romance with some of the spirits there. So it's just generally campy and funny. There was a ghost playing around trying to catch the people. If you are a fan of 80s Hong Kong horror, like the Jiangshi type, where the Jiangshi can chase you, then you can go down and hold your nose and funny things happen, that last short film would be quite nostalgic for you. Yeah, so comedic moment, funny moment, not so scary, but there's scary looking supposedly Hantu in there. And everything, all wells and wells at the end of the day. So that one was a nice wrap up. So I think University 2 has its own fan following, a bit like Scary Nights in the Hong Kong or the Taiwan. How is it Hong Kong? Hong Kong horror nights, right? Scary Nights, Spooky Nights. So this is the Thailand version called Haunted Universities Season 2. Okay, so I think that comes to the end of my dissection of all the movies today. So in terms of ranking, the good movie to the movie that you can watch, to movies that you can probably skip, save your money, to the movies that don't watch unless you want to see how bad it is. Top of the list, Exorcism of God is a must watch. It is a great show and a troublesome nights. Yes, you're right, John. So it's a great show. I do encourage everyone to watch it. It is very scary. Very, very scary. Watch it with someone that you can cuddle up with. Unfortunately, I was watching it alone on my iPad and I watched it twice. But I was holding on to my bolster and I really love it. KKN, it's worth watching. It's entertaining enough. If you could ignore some of the flaws in the show, I guess if you're going in not being very critical, you would have enjoyed it because cinematography is great. The law is there. There are some scenes that's worthy of your time and money. Haunted University, if you don't have time for it, choose not to watch it. If you don't want to watch it while you're drunk. I figured if I had a whole bottle of Jim Beam in my hand, I might have enjoyed the show a lot better. Maghreb, you heard me ripping it to shreds. There's nothing to salvage for that other than the fact that you want to watch it because it's so bad. Okay? Best, Haunted You. Really, John? That's the best for you? John, could you give us in the comment section what are your top 4 picks, like from 1 to 4? John is saying, first one, Haunted University. 2, Exorcism of God. 3, KKN. And last is Maghreb. Oh, wait, that's the best one. Maghreb best. Okay, so John disagrees with me on the first and second, but we are there, right? Haunted Uni. Oh no, I gave Haunted Uni third. I gave KKN second. Okay, who do you agree with? Is it? Or let us know in the comment section which is your choice? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Today we have reviewed 4 movies. Exorcism of God was the first one we did, and then we did Maghreb, and then we did KKN and Haunted University. What is your pick? Maghreb. Eugene, do you like Thai comedy or horror Thai? Hanjay, I love horror Thai. Don't give me comedy Thai. You want a comedy? Give me comedy. Give me horror? Give me horror. Don't give me a mix of horror comedy. That's the Singapore type of horror, because they cannot give you horror. It's against the Singapore MDA law, so they give you horror comedy. No, I do not like it at all. So it's not worth watching. Well, Choi Lin, I don't think it's worth watching, but according to John gave Haunted University first place. So I may be wrong in this one. So why don't you go watch it yourself and be the judge of that. After all, you got 4 movies in one. So if you don't like at least 2 of them, you still get your money's worth lah. Still 2 out of 4, not bad. Let's just go watch with a bottle of Jim Beam. Okay, next one. Okay, go watch. All still showing. Not enough. All right. I guess that we come to the end of this episode of Ghost-Mortem Go Movies. I know there are a few more horror movies coming out. So if you guys like to watch horror movies together, please let us know. Reach out to me on Messenger or WhatsApp, and I'll add you to our Ghost-Mortem movie group, where we share news on what's coming up and we go watch movies together. And sometimes I do get tickets from Shaw, and I'll be happy to share them with you guys who wants to win a ticket to go watch horror movie. All right, so unfortunately Jonathan couldn't be with me here right now to say goodbye, but I'll say goodbye on behalf of Jonathan and give you his goofy grin. Hey, with his beard, everything. His smile is just so infectious. I love that guy. Looking forward to see you again, John, next week. Let's charge your phone cow this time so we can be back to back all the way to the end of the episode. So next week is Ghost-Mortem episode 4, season 5. I don't know what we're going to show you guys yet, but throughout the week we will figure something out. So stay tuned. Next Tuesday, join us 10 p.m. right here on Supernatural Confessions, either on Facebook or YouTube. All right. Good night, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me.
What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.